Homemaker. My name's Rebecca, and today we're going to talk about the Aladdin Factor, a concept so spectacular yet simple. I promise you, if you adopt this concept into your own life, it will change your life. This is literally my favorite secret tip. It will forever be such a powerful mindset shift for me that it changed the way I look at everything. Anyone who knows me well will tell you that I'm constantly referencing this concept. If you ask my family what I'm constantly saying to them, they'll tell you,
the Aladdin Factor, baby! Stop being so inappropriate.
Put that dang bird up. Kiss me harder.
Aladdin Factor, baby. Because I think it's such an amazing thing that most people don't utilize, and yet it's so simple and easy to start using right now. This very minute you could start using it and start to change the course of your life. In this video, I'm going to tell you what it is, why it works, how it works, and what it's done for me. So the Aladdin Factor is not a new concept. In fact, it's hidden a ton throughout the Bible. Now look, if you're not a Christian, if you don't read the Bible, if you have no desire to read the Bible, this concept can still work for you. But if you are a Christian or do read the Bible, once I tell you what it is, you're going to start to see that those verses you read might start to make a little bit more sense. So first things first, what is it? Here's what it is. The Aladdin Factor is simple. It's to ask for what you want. That's it. To ask for what you want. If you know anything about Aladdin, you know that his life was radically changed. How was his life changed? He found a lamp and that was it? Life changed? No. It wasn't just when he found the lamp. He found a lamp, rubbed it, out popped the genie, and poof, then his life was changed? No. After the genie popped out, he asked for what he wanted, and then his life was changed. So then the question is, if it's that simple to just ask for what you want and have your life changed, why don't we do it? What stops us from doing it? There's actually a book I read several years ago called The Aladdin Factor, and this is where I got this concept. I was so interested in all the nuances of it, why we don't do it, how we can do it better. And it turns out there's basically 5 barriers to asking for what you want. So I'm going to run through them really quick with you so that the next time you kind of stop yourself from asking for what you want, you might be able to recognize why it is and squash it then and there. So the first barrier is just ignorance. If we don't know what's possible, if we don't know what we need, if we don't know what's available to us, we just don't know to ask. So without getting too psychoanalytic on these, we may have had some unmet needs from our childhood, and because of those, we don't know that we can ask for different things. And kind of being in a new place in my life, being married now, having kids, and thinking about the Aladdin Factor again in a new way. When I learned about the Aladdin Factor years and years ago, I really started implementing it in my life. And then I kind of just went along doing what I had done. But then I hadn't really thought about it again as a wife and a mom. I've still been doing it, asking for what I want, but not thinking about it in terms of also the people around me now. And I realized when I was looking at this again that one of the reasons that we don't know to ask is because of unmet needs from our childhood. And I realized that I'm guilty of some of these with my own kids. So see if any of these phrases are reminiscent of your own childhood or even your parenting right now. Quit bothering me with your whining and your questions. Quit hounding your mother. Leave your grandmother alone. I don't want to hear about it. I don't have time for it right now. Oh no, not you again. What do you want? All you ever think about is yourself. You never consider anyone's needs but your own. It's my way or the highway, young lady. As long as you live in my house, you guys, I'm sure can all finish this. You'll live by my rules. If you don't like living here, you can leave anytime. If you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all. when I want your opinion, I will give it to you. Or what I say to my kids, when I want your opinion, I'll ask for it. Hurry up, we've got a lot to do today. If you keep your mouth shut and follow the directions, everything will turn out just fine, and do as you're told. So some of these are really mean. I don't say them to my kids. I'm sure you don't say them to your kids, but I bet that there's a few of them in there that you say, or if not, I'm just like the crappiest mom around. But I definitely say some of those to my kids when I get frustrated, when I get impatient. And so like, they hear me saying all the time, Aladdin Factor, baby. But then when they're asking questions or asking for things that they want, because of my own impatience, or just like, it's been a long day and I can't take it one more thing and whatever. I can't get one more drink. I can't get one more snack. I can't read one more book. I do the same thing and just nope, nope, and I squash those needs, and I tell them, no, it's unreasonable for you to ask for the thing you want, which is so ridiculous, because what the heck am I doing? Why am I going around yelling the Aladdin Factor and then telling them, but it doesn't apply to them, basically? Okay, so that's the first one. I'm already feeling like crap. The second barrier to asking for what we want is because of inaccurate beliefs. At some point, I think most of us are taught that being needy is a weakness, and we believe that, and then we don't want to ask for anything because that would mean that we're needy and we don't want to be weak. The third one is fear. And I remember my mom when I was little telling me fear just stands for false evidence appearing real, which sounds so annoying, to be quite honest, because I heard it so much. But it's so true. We're so afraid of so many things that don't ever come to pass that the fear is just a waste of time. So we're afraid to ask for what we want. And we're afraid to ask for what we want because we're afraid of rejection, we're afraid of looking stupid, we're afraid of humiliation, or we're afraid of endless obligation. You have these people in your life that if you dare ask them for a favor, you're going to owe them for the rest of yours. I have those people in my life. I'm sure you do too. So we don't ask for what we want or what we need because we don't want to owe them. And the fourth barrier to not asking is low self-esteem. And actually, our nation is suffering such an epidemic of low self-esteem. I know that it would appear the opposite because all we hear is not to judge and to love and that everybody is okay exactly as they are. But the truth is, 2 out of 3 people suffer from low self-esteem. So something isn't adding up. And if we suffer from low self-esteem, then all of those things that I just listed about fear come into play, and then we don't ask because we either are afraid of what people are going to think of us or we don't believe that we deserve it. So because of low self-esteem, we don't believe that we are worthy of having the things that we want or we need. I had a legal studies class when I was in high school. I think I was 16 or 17 years old. And one of the things we had to do was we had a mock trial for the 3 Little Pigs. And we each got a different part, and then we had another class come in, a different grade level come in, and they were the jury. And we presented our arguments, and each person had their own little role to play with the justice system. And then our teacher took our jury into another room and went over everything, and he came back with their verdict, and then he told us why they decided the way that they did. It was actually really great because it was the first time I realized that even though our court system is supposed to be unbiased, it's not. The truth is, it's just not. So I was the lawyer for the 3 Little Pigs. They were on trial for killing the wolf. And I did a really good job as a teenage kid defending 3 fake pigs. But even my teacher said that I brought up a lot of points that he hadn't heard before and did a really good job. And he came back and said that they had decided that the pigs were guilty. And when he asked them why, they said that they just didn't like me very much. Whatever it was, something that I said or the way I said it, they just didn't like me, and that was that. So that was over 20 years ago, and I have held on to that for so long that I'm just not really likable, and it really has to take people a good amount of time to get to know me before they like me, and there's just something about me that's not likable, and I just accepted that that's who I am. So fast forward to last year when my church invited me to be a part of this speech class, and they had 6 women. It was a 7 or 8 week class, and the goal was to teach us how to speak so that they could use us to be speakers for the church, which is really great. It's so awesome when a church empowers its women. I was really excited about it. And so remember, I went all this time believing that I'm just not really likable. It takes people a while to get to like me, if they ever do like me, and kind of believing I was okay with it, really. And what would happen is we would give us our speech and we built on it each. Hey guys, a little bit weird that I'm popping in here in a different outfit and hairstyle and day. I realized as I was editing this video that something happened with my camera, and there's 2 times in the video where things got erased and they wouldn't make sense unless I came back and finished the story. Okay, so what I was saying in this part was about the speech class I took. What we would do is every week we would give the speech, and we just kept kind of building upon it over the course of 6 or 7 weeks. And so we would give whatever portion was due that week, the introduction, whatever, and then our teachers would critique us. I told you guys that I always had this feeling that, you know, it was just kind of hard to maybe get to know me, or even if you did get to know me, it was kind of hard to get to like me. And so one of the weeks, about halfway through, when I was done, I sat down and kind of braced myself for their opinion. And this was always the hardest part, because I was always ready for them to like really say, you're just not good. One of the teachers, I really respected all of them, but one of them in particular, I just really, really valued his opinion. And when it got to him, he said, you know, Rebecca, the thing is, you're just so lovable. And as soon as he said it, I started crying, because I realized that in my entire 38 years at that point, I had never been told that. I'd been told I love you, I'd been told, you know, good things, but never those words, you are lovable. I was constantly beating myself up, going over conversations that I had had and figuring out what did I say wrong or what did I do wrong, or just feeling awkward in certain situations. And I realized that when he said that I had spent all of those years believing that I wasn't lovable because of the opinions of a few. If that's where you are today, know that you also are lovable, that maybe there's going to be a handful of people that don't like you or that think you're weird, but you are lovable and likable. If you're like me, don't spend 20 years of your life beating yourself up, believing that you're one way. I'm not talking about being delusional about who you are, but I'm talking about being nice to you. So the 5th and final barrier we have is pride. Pride. So pride is a tough one for me. I definitely have a lot of pride. And I think a lot of times I get stuck in my pride, and I get even too arrogant to admit that I get too arrogant to admit that I even have pride, which is so stupid. So don't get pride confused with high self-esteem, because really pride and low self-esteem are just opposite sides of the same coin. Somebody that has low self-esteem can also be super prideful. High self-esteem does not equal pride. If you're somebody that hates to ask for directions or hates to ask for help, that's pride. And because of that, you're not going to ask for the things that you need, like directions or help. Now that we know what the barriers are, and we're going to come at those bad boys with all the fire of 1,000 fires, let's talk about why the Aladdin Factor works. Think about the benefits of knowing how, when, and whom to ask for the things that you want or need. Think about how awesome that would be. You're not going to a dry well asking for water. You're going to the right place, the right person, at the right time to ask for what you want or need, which is going to increase your chances of actually getting it. And if you know the right time, place, person to ask for what you want or need, the possibilities are really endless. You could ask for anything. You could ask for a raise at work. You could ask for a hug. You could ask for an explanation for loyalty. You can ask for more sex. You can ask for a helping hand, a favor, a vacation, a better table, a better seat on the plane, a better hotel room. You can ask for supporter, a promotion, an upgrade. You can ask for a price reduction. You can even ask for subscribers. So please subscribe down below. Hit the subscribe button, the notification bell, if you would, because I would really appreciate it. Thank you. Aladdin Factor, baby. Here's the thing, too. If you don't ask, you definitely aren't going to get it. If you do ask, you definitely increase your chances of getting that thing. Okay, so number 3 is how to use the Aladdin Factor. And this kind of goes with number 2, why it works and how it works together. To find out how to use the Aladdin Factor and why it works to use it this way, we're going to take a trip back to 1977, my friends. Jimmy Carter was just elected president of the United States. Elvis Presley had died, and psychologist Helen Langer of Harvard University conducted an experiment that would help change our view of human behavior and help us utilize the Aladdin Factor to the best of our ability. When I was in college, I took several psychology classes, mainly because I had this psychology professor that I don't even know what the word is. I didn't have a crush on him, but it was a weird, I don't even know what you would call it. I can guarantee I didn't have a crush on him because he wore mom jeans and he was stuck in 1985, but I loved listening to him. I took as many psychology classes as I possibly could, and this was my absolute favorite experiment that he told us about, of everything, even the sexy stuff. This was my absolute favorite because it fascinated me so much. So it's called the copy machine experiment. And this is how it worked. Ellen had a team of research assistants with her. And they went to their local library or their school library. They went to a library. And when the researcher would spot someone waiting at the library copy machine, they would walk over with the intention of cutting the person in line. Then they would ask the innocent bystander one of 3 questions. So the first one was a request only. In other words, they would say, so surprise, surprise, guys, the Clueless Homemaker missed 3 parts that the camera messed up. And I recorded another 2, so here's a 3rd outfit change and a different day. Okay, so the first group of people was a request only. So in other words, the researchers would cut in front and say, is it okay if I skip ahead of you to use the copy machine? But they wouldn't give a reason, so it was just a request. Out of that group, 60% let them skip ahead. In the second group, they would cut ahead and then they would make a request and give a legitimate reason. So the second group would say, is it okay if I skip ahead of you because I'm really in a hurry? And of that group, 94% of people would say, yeah, sure, skip ahead of me. Then in the third group, here's where it gets really ridiculous. The third group was asked and given a fake reason. Can I skip ahead of you because I have to make copies? 93% of people let the researcher cut ahead of them. 93%! What do we learn from this? The most powerful word is the word because. Those people stopped listening once the because came. Once they knew that the researcher had a reason, it didn't matter what the reason was. When they heard because, their brain shut off and said, oh, they've got a reason. Yeah, let them go ahead. That's crazy to me. So why does it work and how do we use it? We're more successful to get the thing that we're asking for if we provide a reason. Actually, even if it's a ridiculous reason, even if the reason doesn't make sense, we're more successful if we just provide a reason. When you ask for the thing you want, provide the reason for it. I was thinking about this. The Aladdin Factor is something that I've been gung-ho about for years. This research experiment is something that has fascinated me for years, but I never thought about how I am to my own kids. When I want them to do something, I usually just tell them to do it. You need to do your chores. You need to take care of the guinea pigs. You need to let the dogs out. You need to go clean your room. But I never provide a reason. And I realized also the reason I never provide a reason is because of my own pride. I don't want them to think that I need to provide a reason for them. But I'm really just kicking myself in the foot here, because if my goal is to have a better relationship with my kids and to help them grow to be successful adults, then I want them to know that they need to do these things because anyway. So if I were to start providing a reason for them, you need to go feed the guinea pigs because they haven't eaten in 12 hours. It's time for them to eat. It's hot outside. They need fresh water. The same thing will work on them. The because will also work on them. There is one group that we found the because doesn't matter. These are husbands. The because doesn't matter with them. But back to kids. I'm gonna start trying to include the because. Remember to include the because with your kids also. So now we know how to use it, why it works, but how do we get started? So if I told you guys we've got these barriers, everybody has these barriers, and we have this epidemic of low self-esteem, how does somebody with low self-esteem or somebody who feels unworthy of asking for the things they want, how do they start? It's easy to say, just ask, but it's a lot harder to actually start it. I'm just going to give you a tiny little snippet here, and I'm going to link to a YouTube video below that will explain it better. But Mel Robbins is an amazing author and speaker, and she's written a book called The 5-Second Rule that I just got done reading. The 5-second rule is basically this. You have 5 seconds to take action toward a goal. When you know, that spark of creativity or that awesome thought, you have 5 seconds to act on it before your brain shuts it down. Because remember, our brain's jobs is to make our lives easier. And your life is easier when you're not doing things, when you're not pushing yourself, and when you're not getting out of your own way. It's just easier. So your brain will fight you on it. So you have 5 seconds before your brain just shuts it down. So when you get that thought, I should really ask for this. I really should ask for a raise. You have 5 seconds to put the action into motion. And her rule says that you count backwards because it will like change things up in your frontal cortex. It'll kind of shake your brain into like, ooh, something different's happening. So you do this 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And she says that you can use this for anything. Getting out of bed when your alarm goes off, asking for a raise, asking for more sex, asking for an upgrade, asking for a hotel room, whatever it is. If you 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go and just do it, you can do it. So I'm going to leave that link below. Watch that video, and I really would encourage all of you to read the book. It's a fantastic book. But if you get that little nudge, because after you watch this, there are going to be things, and you're going to start to get that nudge. I really want to ask for this. Even while I'm talking to you right now, there's something that's on your mind that you're thinking, I've wanted that for so long. I've really, really wanted that for so long, but I haven't asked for it. And what would happen if I did ask for it? And you're going through all these things right now. So what I want you to do is when this is over, I want you to do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go, and start something to ask for it. You can either go directly to the person if this is a good time and the person is available, or you can put a reminder on your phone for tomorrow at 2 o'clock to ask the person whatever it is. But 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go and do it. And remember what you're going to say. Can I please have because this? Or would you please do this for me because this? 93% of people let the researcher cut in line because they needed to make copies. Whatever your thing is that you're thinking about right now is so much more valid than that and so much more worthy than that. So ask. You're worth more than a lame excuse to make copies. The last thing I'm going to share with you is what the Aladdin Factor has done for me. I'm just going to tell you a few of the things that I've gotten because I've implemented this Aladdin Factor in my life, okay? I have gotten so in this part, I start to tell you guys about the things that I've gotten because of the Aladdin Factor. And I specifically started telling you a story about a time in Disney World when we had planned a Disney vacation. We were staying in a Disney hotel, and we saved for that trip and had a certain amount of money. We took the train up because we thought it would be a really fun experience for our kids. Also, not having to drive and having somebody else drive was awesome. Okay, so taking the train back. Now we were all packed up, ready to go. We got to the train station. We were told that the train was going to be a little bit late, and our kids hadn't eaten yet. So I took them to a little sub shop that was near, and as we were coming out of the sub shop, I saw the train leaving the station, and my husband was still standing out there. And I said, "That wasn't our train, right?" And he's like, "No, it was our train." So we missed our train. And there wasn't going to be another train back home until the next day. Also, all of our luggage did make the train because the luggage decided that it could eat on the train and didn't need a sub at that exact moment. We didn't know what we were going to do. We were going to have to obviously stay the night up there. The plan was to stay in an inexpensive hotel because we had spent our budget on our trip and didn't have any more money to stay in the Disney hotel anymore. But I said to my husband, "Let's just call and ask." And he's like, "We're not going to call. Let's just find a hotel and go. They're not going to give you a room for free." And I said, "But they might. All they can do is say no." I called and spoke with the manager and told her we had stayed there for a few days. I explained that we had just missed the train and asked if there was any way that she would allow us to stay there one more night for free because we didn't have the money to stay there anymore. And we just thought it would be fun to stay one more night, and we thought we might as well ask. And she put me on hold and came back and said, "Yes, the room you were staying in is not reserved for anyone else tonight. So yes, you guys are welcome to come back and stay here on us." I'm telling you, that whole trip, that was the most exciting part. That she said yes, that we asked and she said yes. And we didn't have any luggage. So we stopped at Walmart and got clearance bathing suits and toothbrush and toothpaste. And we went back and we spent the night at the hotel swimming and just having a bonus night because we asked. We've gotten movie tickets for free from the movie theater. Our local grocery store is Publix, and they have something called the Publix Promise. If something you get rings up a different price and you bring it to their attention, then you get that item for free. But what they don't tell you is they don't automatically give it to you for free. You have to ask. I've gotten library fines taken off. I've gotten discounts at restaurants. You can just ask. When you go places, just say, "Hey, do you have a coupon you could give me?" Or when you shop, "Hey, are there any discounts available?" A lot of times there are, but if you don't ask, you're not going to get it. I've gotten more help from my husband because for a while there I thought that he should just know what needs to be done. Like, he can see that the garbage is overflowing, right? And then I would get resentful. And then I thought, why am I getting resentful? If literally Aladdin had to ask the genie for what he wanted, then I'm gonna definitely have to ask my husband. Recently we signed up for an all-access yearly membership to something called Masterclass, which is really awesome. It's a bunch of famous people in their fields teaching classes on the site, and we really did not use it for a year to the best of our ability, what we should have used it in that year that we had it. So when the year came to the end, I really felt sick with myself that I didn't utilize it. And I wrote to them and said, "We didn't really use this. And I really, really wanted to, and it's my own fault, but would you be willing to extend it a year for us so that we can use it?" And they wrote back and said, "No problem. Your membership's been extended a year." So just these things that the answer could be yes, and you're never going to know if you don't ask. And once you start doing this, seeing your kid, when they start asking other people for the things that they want, it's such a neat thing to see them going after the things that they want and actually having the courage to ask for it because they've seen it work. Rylan has a sweet little story. Let me get her. She's going to share this little story with you. Okay, can you scooch back just a little bit? Okay, Ryland has two quick stories that she's going to share about Aladdin Factor, baby. Okay.
Okay, so my mom has always taught me growing up that Aladdin Factor works, and I use it. That's why I always say Aladdin Factor, baby. So one of the times was me and my sister and her boyfriend and
some friends of theirs and them. My 6-year-old does not have a boyfriend. Please go ahead. Okay, no, she doesn't. Please go ahead.
We went to Off the Wall.
It's an indoor trampoline place.
Yeah.
Right.
They went to they got there before us, so they started jumping before us, and we only get an hour of jump time each. So they probably got there about 20 minutes before us, what do you say?
Yeah, I don't think that.
Yeah.
probably
So as we were jumping, they kicked our friends off of the trampoline court because their hour was off. Done.
So their time was up.
It was finished. So I asked the worker that was working at the trampoline place if they could please jump with us because the little one was even crying. So I asked.
Not the worker to jump with.
No, yeah.
If their friends could jump with them some more.
I asked the worker if our friends, that sounded really weird, if our friends could jump with us because our friend, the littlest one, was even crying. So I asked the worker if our friends could jump with us just while our time was still going on. So they would, you know, I asked. And he said yes because I had a reason. And so they got to come back on. They got longer than an hour. And if I had not asked the worker, they would not have been able to jump with us. They would have sat down there and listened to the grown-ups talk about some things.
And it's important to say here also that when she asked, she said, because he's really sad and we only have a few more minutes. So if she had said, hey, can my friend come on and jump some more? His time's up. He definitely would have said no. But she gave a reason, and that was enough.
And
right, so one more, you want to tell one more quick thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we were at Walmart, and it was the beginning of school, but this is before school started. I saw this, a planner, and I really wanted to get it, but it was really expensive, and I had to pay for it myself. So I decided that if I asked the worker at Walmart if she could take some money off, if they said they were going to take some money off, then I would buy it myself. That was kind of like
Your
clarification.
Yeah.
Yeah, my clarification. If they're going to take off money, then I'll get that because it was expensive. So we went up there. I asked the Walmart employee if she could take off some money because it was the last one, and the front page is a little ripped, which I really don't care about. I'm going to put some washi tape over it, but that was the thing. It was because it was the last one and because it's ripped. And she said yes. She didn't even call her manager over or anything like that. She said, yeah, how much are you thinking? So I said 10% because they can always go lower. I said 10%. She said okay. So I actually got more than 10%, and I ended up paying about $13, which is pretty good. The thing is, just ask. The worst thing that can happen is they say no. And even that's really not that bad. You say okay and you walk away.
Right. There have been lots of times that I have asked and the answer's been no. I asked and I was told no, and I'm still here. So don't be afraid to ask. Like I said earlier, the thing that you're thinking about right now, whatever that is, it could be something so serious, life-changing for you, or it could be something so ridiculously easy that you think, why haven't I asked yet? Whatever that thing is, I want you to make a plan right now to do it. When you get done with this, after you hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up and maybe leave a comment, that you're going to ask for that thing that you really want, because you are worth it. You absolutely are. And if somebody has not told you, I'm going to tell you, you are absolutely lovable and you are worth whatever that thing is. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to be starting a series on productivity coming up in the next couple of days. So please, if you're not already subscribed, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye. Don't be so
Wait, don't stop it. Don't stop it. Bye, guys.
Pick my clothes up off the floor? This isn't gonna work? Stop interrupting me? Put the seat down? Take out the garbage? Did I do that thing you asked me to do? Stop picking my nose? Don't tell the kids they're adopted?